From Washington Township High School here in Sewell, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting presents summer coverage of the Tri-County Baseball League. Tonight, it's a cross-division matchup between the Roughriders and the Washington Township Senators. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins. This is a beautiful day for baseball here on this Monday night. Got done with a hectic weekend of broadcasting activities up in Central Jersey, but now we're back home and we're here for another great matchup here between the Roughriders and the Senators in the Tri-County Baseball League. For tonight, this is a bit of an interesting pivot point for every team in the Tri-County League. Some teams started playing as early as May 27th, but now there's some teams that are in this June 15th juncture and have only played a handful of games. Washington Township, for their part, they are 1-2. They've only played 3 games, and for the Roughriders, they've only played 4. They're 2-2. But there's other teams that have played 5 or more. Burlington Township has played the most of any team in the Tri-County League this year, and they've had 7. But there's been interesting pitching performances on both sides. There's been lopsided games on a few. But what we can tell you is that this is a chance to pivot for both teams. The Roughriders, as we said, they're 2-2, and they're looking to climb their way up the North Division standings, with Cherry Hill being the number 1 spot right now at 4-1, tied with the South Jersey Grizzlies, both holding 8.5 points. For the Tri-County South, a team that only holds 5 teams, well, the Vineland Gartons are kings there. They're 4-1. And you've got Pittman, that's 3-0, but they're only 3rd in the division because behind them, in front of them is the Cinnamonson Crew, which are 3-4. They've lost 4 games, but they've played more overall, which means that they're higher up in the point standings. Your starting pitchers for both sides tonight: Luke Haddad, the Washington Township grad, is the starter for the Senators. Meanwhile, the right-hander for the Roughriders, they didn't actually mark it in their lineup. I apologize, but we've got some more stuff coming up. It's Tri-County Baseball, Roughriders and Senators after the break. Welcome back here from Washington Township High School. Luke Haddad is your starter as we're going to get ready to get underway with Ethan Haddock, the left fielder from Cherry Hill East High School, now of McDaniel College in Maryland. He will get us started here on this Monday evening. 70 degrees from Washington Township High School. The first pitch from Haddad is up and out, and we are underway. 1 ball, no strikes. Haddock, one of several South Jersey products to come from McDaniel. But the Cherry Hill East grad, who must be proud of what his high school team was able to do, as that ball is high, 2-0. He's batting .500 this year, 5 for 10. 1 walk, 2 stolen bases, 1.038 OPS as Haddad's 2-2. Fastball, another one misses upstairs, and that's 3 balls, no strikes to Haddock. The on-deck circle will be Jake Grice, who, a redshirt freshman from Rowan College of South Jersey at Gloucester, didn't play last season due to an injury, but now playing in summer ball, as this is going to be a 4-pitch walk to open up the game to Ethan Haddock. So here is Jake Grice, the graduate of Haddon Heights, who had a lot of success with Eric Newell and the Haddon Heights team. I mean, I like to say that 2022 Haddon Heights team was one of the best that South Jersey has really had to offer in a long time. You had guys like Drew Harris, John DiCostanzo, and of course Jake Grice being one of them as well. You had Greg Rotolo, who was a great prospect as well, as strike is called to Grice, and it's 0-1. Runner on first, nobody out after the leadoff free pass to Haddock. But Grice, after originally committing, that ball gets through the catcher, but Sharkey will hang on to it. And the ball missed low. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. But Grice Didn't play much in his freshman year at Wagner over in Staten Island, and now looking for a little bit of redemption here at Rowan Gloucester. Batting .364 this season, 3 for 11. Throwback to first, not in time. Trying to keep the runner honest. He does have two stolen bases this year. 1 RBI, 1 triple for Grice, and a .962 OPS. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that one misses at the letters. It's 2-1. By the way, we do have a final score from the Carpenter Cup held this afternoon in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Catholic League beat Delaware County by a score of 5-0. Runner goes. Here comes the throw down to second. It's a little bit wide, and the runner will steal second base. So Haddock gets in there. That's his 3rd stolen base of the year. And it gives the Roughriders a runner in scoring position here in the top of the first. And that ball missed low as well, so it's 3 balls, 1 strike to Grice. Jake Watson will be on deck, the center fielder and graduate from Delsey. And that is ball 4. So some control issues here early for Luke Haddad, the Washington Township grad, playing on his old home field. A 4-pitch walk and a 5-pitch walk. 9 pitches, and only one of them was a strike. Here's Watson. Watson recently entered the transfer portal after a fantastic handful of years at Rutgers Camden. I mean, really one of the best all-around athletes that Rutgers Camden's had to offer for years, is now Sharkey will not throw to third. So it'll be another stolen base for Haddock, and it'll be runners on first and third, and a 1-0 count to Watson. I mean, Haddad's not missing badly. I just think he's very fastball heavy, and when he's thrown those fastballs originally, he has missed high. So you might want to get that back down in the zone, maybe run inside a little bit, try to force some weak contact. Strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike to Watson. Watson broke the stolen base record for Rutgers Camden in his sophomore season. He then injured his ankle early in his junior season and didn't play much, came back for his senior year, and we covered Rutgers Camden as there's a foul ball, 1-2. We covered Rutgers Camden during arguably Watson's best game where he hit for the cycle, including his first career home run. That was versus Centenary College, a game that Rutgers Camden won 10-3 back in early March. How about that for a check swing? That one either hit the knob of the bat or very light on the inside, but it's still 1-2 after the foul ball. So Watson dealing with runners on the corners here. Haddock on third and Grice on first. With Haddad settling in, the pitch is low, and it's 2-2. So with that ball skipping in, evens the count. In the on-deck circle for the Roughriders will be their cleanup batter as Watson to right field. Hits this one pretty high up there, but it'll be caught in right. Haddock will tag, and it'll be a sacrifice fly. 1-0 Roughriders. Kyle Shields makes the throw home, but Haddock comes in to score. That's your first run of the ball game. 1-0 Roughriders. Grice did not advance to second on the play. So 1 away. And the batter is Bowman. Throw back to first, not in time. Bowman, the graduate of Haddonfield High School. Runner goes. Here comes the throw. Strike is called, not in time. So it's a stolen base for Grice, and it'll be a strike called to the batter Bowman, who will make it a runner on second here. But a lefty-lefty matchup. second one in a row, and you're going to have another one with Simon on deck from McDaniel. Here comes another throw. This one not in time, and the Roughriders continuing to steal a lot of bases. They've had 4 here in the first couple of at-bats. Haddock stole second and third, and now Grice steals second and third. And Haddad still just dealing with some control issues on the mound. Trying to get that ball into the zone as this one's popped up foul. One ball, 2 strikes. So 2 walks and a sac fly to right. And there's a strike called. Upper half of the zone, Bowman goes down looking, and there's 2 away here in the top of the first. And this will now bring up Cam Simon from Haddon Heights, also of McDaniel College, as we said earlier. 1 for 5 in 2 games so far this year. He struck out 3 times, misses inside, 1-0. And pitches like that are what's going to be difficult for Haddad to work through, is when you think you have it, you think you've got that strike. You know, the first strike in the at-bat is so important. That one sails, it hits the backstop, and Grice will come in to score on the wild pitch. That's 2-0 Roughriders. So Haddock scores on the sac fly, and now a wild pitch clears the bases. It'll be 2 balls, no strikes. Second run comes in. And the 2-0 to Simon. Another one that just missed that time, 3-0. The on-deck circle for the Roughriders in the 6th slot will be Jack Murphy, first baseman also of Rutgers Camden, and that one is high. So 4-pitch walk to Simon, and now Haddad in some trouble here with 3 walks in the first inning. Now, the catcher in Trevor Sharkey is the so-called interim manager of this game. John DiPietro, who is normally the manager for the Senators, is not here. So if Sharkey is going to have a mound visit with Haddad, well, there's no middleman here. Your catcher is your manager, as Murphy takes inside, 1-0. But Haddad has allowed 3 walks here in the first inning. Has not given up a hit, though. Only 1 ball put in play. Strike called, 1-1. It's going to be a runner for the catcher here at first base. So it'll be Alex Trotsky from Immaculata who's going to run it first for Simon. One ball, 1 strike. Just missed. 2 balls, 1 strike. Popped up back behind the plate. Sharkey might have a play. This one is just going to land in play. Back behind the dish. But hard to tell with the sun facing that way. It's very difficult for the catcher to pick up, as it's going to be a 2-2 count here to Jack Murphy. 6th batter of the inning for the Roughriders. After him would be Vincent Panvini. First 3 for the Senators in the bottom of the first will be Phil Sedalis, the shortstop, Dan Reisel, the center fielder, and Rich Raccabaldo, the first baseman. This one skied foul down the right field line. Nobody will have a play on it, and the count remains 2-2. Haddad delivers up and away, 3-2. Full count. Haddad looking to avoid his fourth walk of the inning as this one is slammed down the third base line and foul. Still now 3-2. But Summer League action here in the Tri-County Baseball League here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting just a hair after 6:15 p.m. Top of the first inning, 2 runs already home for the Roughriders, but Washington Township's got a good offense, and they're going to try to find a way to respond as that ball is low. That will be ball 4, and now Sharkey is going to call time for himself, and he is going to talk to Luke Haddad out on the hill, who has now allowed 4 walks in the first inning of today's game. I mean, obviously, in the Summer League, one of the best things that you can do is help develop your pitchers, but in a game-by-game basis where every position that you pick up in the North or the South Division, it matters. It's not an easy pill to swallow if you've allowed 4 walks in the first frame. The batter is Panvini. Coming in as the second baseman in today's game, Panvini from Rollins College. The first pitch, swing and a miss, 0-1. Panvini looking to get off to a better start this summer. 1 for 10 to start. 350 OPS. His one hit was a single. He has walked 2 times. And after him in the 8 slot would be Trotsky. One ball, one strike. Haddad to Panvini. Outside, 2-1. I think you're also dealing with a pitcher who, in this situation, he's trying to get his mojo back, and he's only thrown a third of an inning this year in which he allowed 4 runs and 4 walks. So his ERA on this season, as that one misses 3-1, is 84.85, and his WHIP is over 12, which I don't know in what game that was in. But obviously Township trying to work through the motions here in the early part of the season for a guy that's really struggling with control. And that's now 5 walks. The bases are loaded. It's Trotsky on third. Then it's Jack Murphy on second, Vincent Panvini on first. And the Roughriders have somebody up and warming in the bullpen. That one is high, 1-0. So Trotsky, 3 for 9 so far, 3 RBIs, and a swing and a miss makes it 1-1. I mean, if I'm the Roughriders at this point, up 2-0 with the bases loaded, you really don't want to swing until you get a strike. You just don't want to risk it at this point in time. Jams one to first. This one is barely going to stay fair for Raccabaldo. He'll tag the bag, and the inning is over. So Haddad walks 5, but he only allows 2 runs, and he leaves the bases loaded. Roughriders will take the field, and the Senators will come to bat after the break. Bottom of the first inning. Roughriders up 2-0. They left the bases loaded. The ball missed that time, 1-0. Phil Sedalis leads us off for the Senators. Starting shortstop for Rowan University. Sedalis cracks the ball left field. This one's hit pretty well. Going back, and it is gone. Solo home run to left field that clears the fence. And we were talking about the Senators getting their offense back, and they did it with one swing. Solo shot, and it is 2-1 with the Roughriders up by 1. So just as he did many times for Rowan, he's able to do the same here in the summer. He gets that ball out to make it a 2-1 game. Just a very good swing that time by Sedalis. And now you've got a lefty-lefty matchup here. With Dan Reisel manning center field for the Minutemen, or excuse me, for the Senators. From September to June, or I guess I should say from September to May, this would be the home of the Washington Township Minutemen, but today it's the Washington Township Senators for the Summer League. That ball misses low. Left-hander working fast here for the Roughriders. Austin Hanney gives us a strike. Hanney this season, 2 innings, no earned runs, 2 strikeouts. This one's jammed foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. On the batter, Reisel with the first baseman, Raccabaldo, on deck for the Senators. But a leadoff home run to left field. That's ball 4. So Reisel takes a walk and keeps the gears moving after the home run. So here's Raccabaldo. Hanney, now at TCNJ, had a bit of an interesting high school arc. He was at Cherry Hill, I can't remember which way it was, but he transferred from one Cherry Hill school to the other. I believe it was from west to east. As a base hit by Raccabaldo, the right now moves the runner to third. So neither starting pitcher off to the best start, as Haddad walked 5, and now Austin Hanney has allowed 2 hits in the first inning as it moves Reisel to third base, and this is going to send up Kyle Crozier now in the cleanup spot. So Crozier stepping in with 2 on and nobody out. Curveball. It's a strike call, but it pops out of the glove of Simon. He's able to hang on to it. Crozier batting .250 to start the year, 2 for 8. 2 RBIs and 1 triple. Chance to make that 3 RBIs if he can hit the ball deep enough in this at-bat. That one is low. But all 3 base runners have reached to open up this inning. And honestly, what could be either a bullpen game or a high-scoring affair, depending on how long these pitchers are committed to staying in the game. And of course, Haddad can settle down in the 2nd or 3rd inning, and so can Austin Hanney. Because one thing we talk about all the time in baseball is first-inning jitters. You know, not having your best stuff to open up the game, especially in an environment like this where in the summer you probably haven't thrown in too long, and you know, you might not be working with a catcher that you're all that familiar with. So sometimes it's just better for you to settle in a low-stakes environment like this, as this one pops off the glove of Hanney. Runner does not go to third. They'll make the out at second. Now they're going to throw back to third, and no play there. So that will be a 1-6 fielder's choice. The runner is out at second. It'll be runners on first and third still, and that is out number 1 in the inning as Crozier bounces into kind of an unusual play. But Raccabaldo is the runner retired at second, and Reisel, thanks to the effort of the Roughriders infielders, able to stay at third base, able to be kept at bay. As that one misses low and away to Warburton. 3 straight lefties that Haney has had to face, which normally would be an advantage to the pitcher, but with how well the Senators have hit so far, it has been a little bit different. There's a strike called on the breaking ball. Roughriders batted 8 in the first inning. They scored 2 and left the bases loaded. As this ball's cracked by Warburton, he might have broken the bat. It ends up, oh, here comes a play at the plate. He's going to try to tag from second, and he will score. How about that? Not very often do you see an infield pop-up turn into a sac fly, but the second baseman, Panvini, caught it, and Reisel broke from third right away. It's a sacrifice fly, and we are tied up at 2. So 2 outs. At first I thought Warburton had crushed the ball, but I think he might have broken the bat, or he might have gotten jammed, because it sounded a lot louder off the bat than it ended up being. So it's going to be a tie game at 2. Scores Reisel from third. Crozier still at first, and the batter is Braden Thorpe, as this one is low. Thorpe, who just the other day got done playing for Kingsway Regional in the Group 4 state championship. They fell to Ridgewood 7-6. There's a strike called. No South Jersey champions for us this year, unfortunately. Group 1 went to Point Pleasant Beach. Group 2 went to Ramsey. Group 3 went to Old Tappan, and Group 4 went to Ridgewood. There were 2 state champions at the, actually 1 state champion at the non-public level. As a tapper back to the mound will retire the side. But a home run by Phil Sedalis and a sacrifice fly in the infield ends the inning. So both teams putting up their marks in the first, and we're right back to square one after inning number 1. It's 2-2 after the break. Welcome back here, top of the second inning. For the Roughriders, it'll be McKenna and Murphy for the Roughriders as they'll get settled in after a topsy-turvy first inning. Roughriders scored 2 in the top of the first thanks to 5 walks from Luke Haddad, as he's just trying to settle into the strike zone right now. Shea McKenna out of McDaniel College is your batter, batting .429, 6 for 14, 2 RBIs, and a .429 average. .858 is his OPS. Swing and a miss, 1-1. McKenna to be followed by Ian Murphy out of Lackawanna College, and now at Rowan. Rowan products on both sides. As we mentioned, Phil Sedalis for the Senators, who had that leadoff home run, also of Rowan. But more importantly, in this game, we've seen that both teams have successful offenses. That one's outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Dude, and I know that he was with a few different programs, but Murphy gets hit by the pitch, and that'll put a runner on first and second with nobody out. So we'll go back to the top of the order here for Haddock. Runner goes, throw to third is late. So that put the lead runner went. Runner at first did not go. Murphy held up. So it'll be runners on first and third. So Watson did commit. He committed to UMass Lowell, which is a Division I college. This one's fouled back. Hits off the post and gets back in the field of play. That's one of those things where I don't think you could hit that foul ball again if you tried, but right off the end of the fence. That'll be 3 balls, 2 strikes to Haddock, who walked in his first at bat. It is low. Sorry, 2 balls, 2 strikes, I believe. Jake Grice will be on deck. Also walked in his first at bat. Fly ball. Chased one a little high. This one will head its way out of play. Hits the top of the batting cage, and he'll have 2 strikes on him. Full count. Haddad to Haddock. This one is grounded to the second baseman. Bobbles it, flips it to short for the out. It'll be a fielder's choice that scores McKenna. And it's now 3-2 Roughriders. So Murphy is retired. That just strands the runner on first. It's out number 1. And it's run number 1 in the second inning as Haddock able to put the ball in play. That'll be a 4-6 fielder's choice. So here is Grice. So a walk, a hit by pitch, and now a fielder's choice. But the crazy part of it all is that the Roughriders still have not recorded a hit in this game because that last play was a fielder's choice. So as much as it sounds crazy to say, I mean, it's just that's how it's been. This has been a quite the odd game so far. As the pitch. Runner went back to first thinking that one was going to be a pickoff. Misses that time. 2 balls, no strikes. Grice walked in his first at bat. He did come in to score. Popped up. First base side. Raccabaldo does not have a play. Ball trailed in at the last second and missed his glove at first base. It'll be 2-1. This was even wilder than that, as it's ball 4. Haddad has now walked his 7th batter, and he's walked Grice a 2nd time. But if you're unfamiliar with that game, it was game 2 of the Region 19 championship. The Roadrunners won game 1 on a walk-off 12-11, and they had lost their first game, so they had to win twice to win the region. They won the first game 12-11, and the second game was a mind-bogglingly high score of 25-18. Brookdale led 17-1 in the fourth inning as Watson on the ground to first base. Picked up by Raccabaldo. He'll flip to the pitcher, and he'll make the play. That's out number 2. So it moves the runners to second and third. On a 3 unassisted ground out by Watson. And the batter is Bowman. Another lefty for Haddad. Yeah, how about seeing 2 lefties tonight? And the majority of both lineups, not the majority, but maybe a good third, if not 4 or 5 hitters on each side batting lefty. Strike called, 0-1. Bowman struck out looking in his first at bat. It'll be Shields, Ward, and Sharkey for the Senators in the second as they trail by 1. Another pitch cracks in there, and it's 0-2. It's a very good pitch by Haddad that time. I really like that break on the breaking ball. It's like a 12-6 breaking ball. It's not a, I mean, it's kind of conventional, but at the same time, gets it at outside part of the plate, and if you're a lefty, you've kind of got to get out there and fish for it if you're going to make solid contact. The first time today, Haddad is ahead in the count, 0-2. We'll see if he can capitalize here. The 0-2 misses outside. Not a bad idea to go for the breaking ball there, especially because you saw that Bowman actually started to offer at it. Quite the good idea to just, you know, we call them waste pitches, but a lot of modern pitchers don't really like to do that anymore because it's not proactive, and you're trying to keep your pitch count as low as possible, but sometimes the art of deception is what you need, and he got it right there. Swing and a miss. Haddad strikes out Bowman, and the inning is over. He gives up 1 run on a on a fielder's choice by Ethan Haddock, but nothing more. We go to the bottom of the second. It's the Roughriders 3 and the Senators 2. Welcome back here from Washington Township High School. It's the Roughriders 3 and the Senators 2 in the Tri-County Baseball League. Cross-division action. Roughriders coming in at 2-2. Senators coming in at 1-2, but both starting pitchers have had a little bit of issues here to start the game. With 2 hits given up by Austin Haney of TCNJ in the bottom of the first inning, including a leadoff home run to Phil Sedalis. There's a strike called to Kyle Shields of Kingsway. And it's 0-1. Shields headed to Chestnut Hill University. This is his first appearance of the year. I mean, when you're a team like Washington Township that relies a lot on college players, and the season starts on May 27th, a lot of high school teams are still playing on the 27th, as that one misses away. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. But, for example, Kingsway, their last game in the state championship was on Sunday. So your roster really didn't expand apologies, that's strike 3. Hani gets him down. First strikeout for Hani. And it's 0-1. Strikeout looking to Shields, and this brings up another Kingsway product in A.J. Ward. Yeah, I guess with no team in the Swedesboro or Woolwich area, got to make do at Township, but strike is called. Considering how fierce the rivalry is at the high school level between Kingsway and Washington Township, I know it hurts. I know it would have to hurt a little bit for these Kingsway players to wear a Washington Township jersey. It's 0-2 now after the swing and miss. Haney looking like he's getting a lot better into the groove right now. With the bottom half of this order, Trevor Sharkey, the catcher, is on deck as there's a hot line. Sharkey chases one, 0-1. And if Hani can settle in, then that could be really good news for the Roughriders going forward, because that would mean in your situation that you've got one pitcher that's got it all going and one that hasn't so far. And originally we thought that both pitchers were going to be struggling after the first inning, and one trend continued and one did not. Here's a 1-1. That one's up high. Simon picks that one up, and it's 2-1. In the top of the third for the Roughriders, it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Simon, Jack Murphy, and Panvini. Upstairs again. So now behind in the count. 3 balls, 1 strike to Sharkey with DiPietro on deck. Strike called. Count is full. And that is ball 4. So Sharkey picks up a walk. Quite the quick trot out of the box. And Hani picks up his second free pass of the game. So here is DiPietro. 2 away in the bottom of the second inning. Here from Washington Township High School in Sewell. It is an absolutely beautiful night for baseball, 70 degrees. When we had coverage last Monday between Vineland and Pittman, it was even, it was just as nice. It was 65 degrees. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing out to left field. Strike called at the knees to DiPietro, 0-1. I can't say I'm strategizing it, but I got to imagine once we get into the playoffs in July, you're going to have a lot more 90-degree games. And, we've got a game on Friday. I think it's going to be a little bit hotter then. Only one other game this week for us, though, on Friday between the Cherry Hill Club and the South Jersey Grizzlies, as that one's away. Hani working fast and counts 2-1. We've got Cherry Hill and the South Jersey Grizzlies on Friday, 6:10 p.m. from Runnymede Babe Ruth, as this ball's flied right field line and out of play. That one is going to land on the athletic turf behind us, the famous Tom Brown Field. Sure we'll be in that football press box plenty of times throughout the Washington Township football season. With how good they were, 12-0 undefeated season last year. The 2-strike pitch is low. That one misses in. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the bottom of the second. 3-2. Roughriders over the Senators. Strikeout, a ground out, and a walk so far with DiPietro. That ball skips away. And it's ball 4. So Simon picks it up. He'll hang on to it. No challenge at third. And back-to-back free passes for Haney give a little 2-out life for the Senators. So here is Phil Sedalis, the guy who cracked a solo home run to left field in the bottom of the first inning. Gave the Senators the first hit of the game and the first run scored by the Senators for the shortstop out of Rowan. Rowan made their second straight Division III College World Series appearance this past May and June. I believe Denison ended up winning the D3 national champion. It was Denison and Endicott College that played. I mean, Division III baseball is so interesting because you get a whole host of guys in many different positions. As here comes Simon, throw to third, an aggressive send, and he is out. Thought he was able to get around it, but a caught stealing on a low pitch ends up ending the inning. So the Senators leave 2 runners on after that play was made over at third, and going to the top of the third inning, it is the Roughriders 3 and the Senators 2. It'll be A.J. Ward, the new pitcher for the Senators, as the first pitch is a swing and a miss by Panvini. 0-1. Ward, the utility man out of Kingsway High School. This is his first appearance of the season. 1-1 after the 2-run home run by Jack Murphy to left field. Ward, not typically a pitcher. He did not pitch in high school for Kingsway, but he was a .339 career hitter for 2 seasons with 43 career hits. But giving him an extra opportunity here as that ball sails over the grandstands, and it's 2-2. Ward did have 2 RBIs in the state championship game. And there's a swing and a miss. So Ward picks up the strikeout. And there's one away as Panvini goes down on strikes, and now it'll be Tranowski. But Luke Haddad's final line, just 2 innings because he didn't record an out. So 2 innings, 1 hit, 5 earned runs, 8 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Definitely not a prototypical line for the starting pitcher as that ball hits Sharkey in the mask. It's 2-0. Strike called, 2-1. Another fastball from Ward. Very heavy fastball repertoire so far. And another swing and a miss. 2-2. In the on-deck circle will be Shea McKenna, the West Effort grad, as there's a tapper out towards short. Tough play for Thorpe. He'll come in. Looping throw to first is in time. And a 6-3 ground out is out number 2 here in the third. Now, one thing to remember today is this game has dragged on a little bit. It's 7:06 p.m. Sunset is 8:30. We should be able to get all 7 innings in today, but that's not guaranteed. There are no lights at this field, so we've certainly had our share of not rain-shortened games, but darkness-shortened games. I mean, there's barely even a cloud in the sky today. I was worried we were going to play this game after how intense the rain was last night, at least where I was. But, I mean, you had hours of heavy thunderstorming, and I was curious if they were going to play, but they did look like they prepped the field pretty well. 2 strikes, 2 outs to McKenna. And here's a shot back up the middle and into center field. Shea McKenna with a base hit. That's his first hit of the game. He walked in his first plate appearance. And that's the second hit of the inning for the Roughriders. The batter will be Ian Murphy. But just a good line drive shot back up the middle. No doubt about it. And Murphy, the 9-hitter. Strike called. But like we said, at the end of the day, you really just have to have the composure and the ability to work through tough situations like that to win ball games. And it's only a 3-run game. Washington Township certainly has the offensive ability with guys like Crozier and Warburton and Sedalis and many others to make their impact known. And if they can score 2 in the first, they most certainly can score 3 more. So this game is not over by any means for the Senators. Ward ready. Ball, a late steal, and he'll get in there. So McKenna with a very late jump ends up getting to second base on a somewhat apologetic stolen base. And that ball missed outside. There were some folks in the Roughriders dugout who didn't even realize he was running with how late that was. But job's a job, and he got it done. Here's the pitch. Runner goes again. Murphy cracks the ball to center field. It'll be straight away. No, this is going to get over the head of Sedalis, or excuse me, of Reisel. McKenna scores. Murphy will get in the second standing. It's an RBI double. And the Roughriders now lead this one 6-2. And the ball cracked to center field. Aracabaldo thought that he was out, but he is not. And it'll be an infield single as Haddock was able to get out of the box quickly. The throw was a little bit low, but I wouldn't call that a throwing error by any means on Sedalis. Runner gets to third now. But yeah, Aracabaldo was just confused by that because he thought he got him. So here is Grice batting for a third time in 3 innings. Swing and a miss early on that one, 0-1. strike called, 0-2. Watson on deck if the inning continues. This is the 8th batter that Township has faced as a pop-up back behind the plate. Sharkey's got a tough play, dove forward for it, but couldn't make the play. Still 2 outs. And Sharkey was a little frustrated that there wasn't communication on that pop fly. Bottom of the 3rd inning. We'll have to reconnect our camera. Not sure what happened there. Excuse us for 1 second. It is 6-2. The Roughriders are in front. We did have a bit of a lagging issue, so that should be fixed. Not sure what the issue was because we had full bars of 5G for our connection, but hey, that's why we do these games in the summer, is to figure these things out. Just like these players are figuring themselves out on the field, we're doing the same in the broadcast booth. As Haney has a 2-0 count to start the at-bat to Sedalis. This one's popped up third base side. This will be a tough play, going over and unable to make the play. 2-1. It's funny because there was a Washington Township player, Chris Smith, who made that catch in that exact spot last year. Smith leaped over the fence and made the catch in basically the exact same spot that McKenna was going for, except this time he dropped it. But I remember that Chris Smith play from last year. I can't remember if it was Smith or it was Sedalis, but it was somebody who had a lot of range to get over that fence. That's strike 3 called. Sedalis goes down looking. It's the 2nd strikeout for Haney. And there's one away. So here is Reisel. First of 4 in a row out of the left-hand batter's box for the center. So here is Raccabaldo now. That one is low. Yeah, I apologize. I'm not sure why we're having connectivity issues because it's a good cell service area here, so I'm not sure. Might be something on our end, but swing and a miss, 1-1. But mitigating through it as best we can, and it's Raccabaldo, the batter, with a runner on first and 1 away. Bottom of the 3rd inning. It is 6-2. Roughriders over the Senators. And a big swing by Raccabaldo, but it is foul. And it's 1-2. The on-deck circle will be Crozier. But with the middle of the order coming up for the Senators, this might be the last time you have to get some more offense on the board and try to save this game before it gets away from you. As cracked foul. That one is going to go a long way, but the good news is that it stays in the facility, so that you don't have to go into somebody's backyard to make that happen. That one is low. I remember pretty well we had a playoff game. Maybe it was either a playoff game or a regular season game 2 years ago in 2024 that we had between Cinnaminson and Washington Township. As that one's grounded first base. It hits off of Murphy's glove, but it's foul. And Count still 1-2, 2-2, pardon. But Washington Township before 2 years ago, and it might have been just the 1 year, but they didn't have much of an established home field. So they played at this community park, I want to say in Williamstown. And it was a super small field. There was like 3 home runs in the game. It was really meant for like a 13, 14-year-old field, like, 300 down the lines, not your typical high school outfield depth. But Township won that game, and I just remember how short of a field that was. And there was a home run that quite literally, and forgive me, I can't remember who hit it, but it landed in somebody's backyard. Literally went over our heads and cleared the outfield fence, cleared the second fence, and it was a part of somebody's barbecue. That's ball 4. So Raccabaldo walks. So Austin Hanney has allowed 4 walks already. And it puts runners on first and second here with 1 away for Crozier. Crozier pops it up, first pitch back over our heads, then out of play. Lands halfway up the bleachers there, back behind the plate. It's 0-1. It's got to be tough if you're not looking. Foul ball lands right behind you or right in front of you. That one's low. One. Big swing and a big miss by Crozier. 1-2. But a beautiful night here on the vast campus of Washington Township High School. I mean, it is a massive campus here at Washington Township. It's the 1-2. There's a line drive. Oh, what a spear at second base. Can he hang on to it? He gets the out. Vincent Panvini with a diving stop. Flailed his glove over him to make the play. A really tough out that time. It moves the runner to third, but it retires Raccabaldo at second. So it'll be a 4-6 fielder's choice. But even if that doesn't save all of the base runners, and even if it's not a double play, you do one thing for sure, and that saves the run. So now it'll be Warburton in the 5 slot off of Hanney. Strike called on the breaking ball. So runners on first and third now with 2 away. Counts 0-1. Oh, that one got a piece of Warburton in his foot. Lost his footing in the batter's box, and it's 0-2. Umpire goes to dust off home plate. He'll need a second to kind of regroup himself here after that swing. Hopefully he's all right. I mean, Crozier got hit earlier and got hit in the upper half of his back near his collarbone. That doesn't feel good. And then same applies here for Warburton as he dribbles this one to first. So Murphy gets out of it, and Hanney, for the second inning in a row, leaves 2 Senator base runners on deck. On base. We go to the 4th. It's the Roughriders 6 and the Senators 2. Top of the fourth inning, Jake Watson is your batter for the Roughriders, 3, 4, and 5. After 3 runs came across in the third. 2-run home run by Jack Murphy. Swung on top of it, grounds it to first, and he won't run it out of the box. For a guy that is so heavy on running, it feels so abnormal for him not to run it out of the box. But it is the Summer League, and for the second time today, he grounds out to the first baseman. So the batter is Bowman. Strike called, 0-1. Actually, this is going to be Drew Costello, the batter for the Roughriders out of Haddon Heights. Pokes this one to right field, and it'll be a base hit for Costello. Gets one down, and it's a leadoff knock for the Roughriders, brings up Cameron Simon. So, very Haddon Heights heavy team with Jake Grice and Drew Costello, Simon. And I remember John D. Costanzo was on the Roughriders for a while, who's now at TCNJ. This ball skied into shallow right center field. Reisel is there. There's quickly out number 2. And it'll be Jack Murphy, who had that 2-run home run in the prior inning, now up. Yeah, and while this team doesn't have an official home, they're just called the Roughriders. They do play a lot of their games at the Belmar Rec Complex, right off of Bell Road and right off the 42 exit. Or, excuse me, right off the Creek Road exit. So they've had, ever since I started covering Tri-County, I think 4 years ago at this point, they've had a handful of home fields. They've played at Russ Spicer Diamond, which is where Haddonfield High School plays their games. They've played at Haddon Heights High School. They've played at Belmar Rec. I think that's the field that they're most comfortable with and that they've played the most of their home games at. But I am reluctant to call them, say, the Haddonfield Roughriders or the Belmar Roughriders, because they really, that's not officially what they're known as, and they don't really have an established home. Like, we were talking with the Roughriders before the game, and somebody came up and asked if they were the home team, because that's just what they have. As Murphy crushes a ball foul. That one is going to hit the back of the fence. If he straightens it out, that could be a second home run of the game, but instead it's a foul ball, and it's 1-2. Their first, quote, home game of the season, they played versus Cinnaminson, but they were actually the home team at Cinnaminson Field at Cinnaminson Memorial Park. And Murphy gets grazed with the pitch. It'll run inside, and Murphy gets hit. So he's reached base all 3 times now. A walk, the home run, and a hit by pitch. So Panvini will be the batter now after the hit by pitch. Two on, 2 out. This ball's cracked foul down the third base line. The Roughriders don't have a home game scheduled until June the 23rd. They'll be hosting the Pine Barrens Phantoms. And that game will be at Russ Spicer Diamond in Haddonfield. But then on the 25th, you go back to the norm where they'll be playing the Camden Reds, which their home field is the Camden Athletic Complex, the very famous Camden Athletic Complex beneath the Ben Franklin Bridge. However, the Roughriders will be the home team in that game. I do like the variety of home fields that exist here in the Tri-County League. You know, from high school fields to community parks to, again, places like the Camden Athletic Complex that are such a great venue. That one's low. 1-2. As we said, our next scheduled broadcast will be on Friday, June the 18th. Actually, it'll be the 19th, this Friday. We'll be at Runnymede Babe Ruth for Cherry Hill and the South Jersey Grizzlies. This ball's popped up, back behind us, and foul. It'll land just beyond the grandstands, and it's 1-2. In the bottom of the fourth for Washington Township, it'll be 6, 7, and 8, Thorpe, Shields, and Ward. Whoa, look out. Ball just came in front. You know what? I think somebody threw in the foul ball, and then they were trying to get it back into the infield, and I think that was the third baseman throwing to Sharkey, and the ball just got away. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ward, who we haven't seen much of as a pitcher, he's been doing pretty well, and he swings and misses. Panvini strikes out. That is the second strikeout in relief for A.J. Ward, and the inning is over. So the Roughriders fail to add a run, but they do leave 2 runners on. Going to the bottom of the fourth, it's the Roughriders 6 and the Senators 2. First pitch hits off of Hanny's glove, throws it back to first, and it's in time. 1 away. So 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the fourth inning. So Thorpe grounds out on the first pitch on a 1-3 ground out. How about that? That 2 at-bats, and both times have been a 1-3 ground out on a ball that's gone back to the pitcher, as that one's low. To Shields. Again, a very lefty-heavy lineup, but the Roughriders, despite the first inning woes, have had the strength to keep Hanny in the game and the confidence to keep him in the game, as a ground ball rolled over to second base, picked up by Panvini. Throw to first is in time, and there's 2 away. Now, in all fairness to the Roughriders, that leniency on your starting pitcher could be because you've got a new manager in John Githens, who is a former minor league pitcher himself, who was also a starter in his time in the minor leagues. He was a 7th-round draft pick in the 1985 January draft out of Camden County College. He was drafted by the Cleveland Indians and made it as high as A-ball, as this ball's popped up. How about that? We'll have a very quick bottom of the fourth inning with 3 ground balls. 1 to the pitcher. Actually, no, 2 ground balls and 1 fly ball. 1 to the pitcher, 1 to the second base, and a pop out to second to end the inning. We'll have more on John Githens when we go to the top of the 5th, but for now, it's the Roughriders 6 and the Senators 2. It's the top of the fifth inning. You're watching coverage of the Tri-County Baseball League on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. This is our first of 2 games this week. We normally would have 1 game per week in the regular season, but we're doubling up for 2 games this week because I will be away next week. So I'll be out of town. So what's it called? We'll have 2 games this week to make up for my absence. There's a strike called. Batter disagrees, but not going to get no ABS here in the Tri-County League. As it'll be Tronovsky, McKenna, and Ian Murphy in the top of the fifth, with Ward still working in relief here. Fly ball. Popped up foul down the first base line. One ball, 2 strikes to Tronovsky. Oh, it misses. Oh, appeal to first, says no. 2-2. Ground ball to third is foul. With the sun popping back out here on a beautiful Monday night. Panvini pops it up again. Or excuse me, over to first base. Tronovsky pops out to Roccabaldo. 1 away. Here is McKenna. McKenna has a younger brother in Cole McKenna, who was a star at West Deptford, along with his brother Shea, of course. And he was originally committed to Seton Hall, and then he switched his commitment to Old Dominion. He played his first season at Old Dominion, and now he's in the transfer portal, but strike is called, or I believe it was at least. There's another one. So 1 away. Yeah, counts 1-1. Apologies there. Gonna pop out to first base. Tronovsky now 0 for 3. McKenna wavers on it. No, that was strike 3. Okay, I was right the first time. When you're doing so many different things, it's hard to keep up, and I'm still a little bit rusty. So there's 2 away. That was strike 3. So here is Murphy. 0-1 to Murphy. And now it's 0-2. So Ward working really quickly here versus the bottom of the order. This one's cracked out to first base, picked up glove side by Roccabaldo, and the inning is over. So 1-2-3. Ward has retired the last 4 batters straight, and the inning is over. So we go to the bottom of the fifth. Still nothing moving on the scoreboard. We'll see if the Senators can pick up the bats. It's 6-2. Welcome back. Cole Bauman, your new pitcher for the Roughriders. 0.95 ERA in 7 1/3 innings this year for the right-hander out of Haddonfield Memorial. For himself this year, 4 appearances already. So he's appeared in every single game that the Roughriders have played. He's allowed 1 earned run. He has walked 6 batters, but he struck out 7. And it says 0.82 whip. But a sub-1 ERA, always nice to have, but curious to see how his walks will play a role. And that's the funny thing, is that you'd think with 6 walks in 7 innings, he'd most certainly have a whip over 1, but the thing is, he hasn't allowed a hit in 7 1/3 innings. So it's quite the unusual line to take. But for Austin Haney, the left-hander out of TCNJ, his final line tonight, he gave up 2 earned runs, both of them in the first inning. He gave up a total of just 2 hits, both of them also in the first. He did allow 4 walks and struck out 2 batters. Cracked to third by Sharkey. That one's off the glove of McKenna. He'll have a tough play, and he's going to throw it away down the first base line. Murphy picks it up. That was a tough play. It was a line drive, but I think that'll be an error on McKenna. So here is DiPietro now. Just a tough shot. Not a whole lot you can do there. But I think that the fact that it was right at him and it was playable is what makes me think it was an error. I'm definitely tough on errors and hits and that kind of scoring stipulation. But that's what I love about baseball, is that it's the only game where the game can be scored differently depending on who you ask. And depending on, I mean, obviously there are interpretations of the rules, but it's not like in basketball you can debate on, I mean, you can debate on whether something is a 2 or a 3, but it can be proven wrong or overturned rather quickly. In baseball, the difference between an error and a hit sometimes is subjective. And it depends on how hard the ball was hit and where the fielder was placed and everything of that nature. That is one of the most fascinating things about the game, is that it's, you know, somebody's scorebook, if somebody's scoring this at home, they could score that a base hit, and somebody else could entirely score that an error, like I did. There's a swing and a miss. That's strike 3 on DiPietro, and the batter will be Sedalis. First strikeout for Bauman in relief. Sedalis had a solo home run to left field to open up the scoring for the Senators. Just the second pitch that he saw off of Austin Haney, cracked it over the fence. We've had 2 home runs in this game, one from Jack Murphy and one from Sedalis. Ball misses outside. And, of course, when Sedalis was up the second time in the third, facing Haney a second time, I think he was definitely a little bit wary of him, but he did strike out looking. Now that he's facing a new arm, you're kind of resetting the momentum. There's a strike called. Two balls, 2 strikes now. 1-2, excuse me. Like I said, I am still rusty. I need to start calling baseball games like every day, like I did back in April and May, or in March. Well, misses, 2-2. I looked up the numbers, or not looked up, but I scoured through the numbers for DWB high school baseball. We covered 44 total games in the high school season, from our opening day on March 23rd to our final game, which was the South Jersey Group 3 final between Mainland and Delsea back on June the 4th. Here's the 3-2. And that is ball 4. So really good comeback by Sedalis. There were a couple of very close pitches in that at bat. Some that they disagreed with. But 2 base runners here, and for the first time we'll see John Githens come out. That's what I mentioned. We were going to start talking about him again. The 7th round draft pick in 1985 out of Camden County. had a career 4.12 ERA in 5 minor league seasons. He reached at the highest level AA with the Baltimore Orioles in 1989. He played for Batavia in 1985, 2 seasons with the Waterloo Indians out of the Midwest League in 86 and 87. Then he played for Kinston in 1988. And keep in mind, those 3 seasons, Waterloo and Kinston, were all at single A. But I believe that they, I guess you could say, relocated or got reassigned because he went from the Midwest League to the Carolina League. But he was a starting pitcher. Well, partially a starting pitcher. He had combination work, if you will. He had 46 career starts and 137 career appearances. This ball skied by Reisel out to center field. It's caught in center. Runner tags, and he is in there standing. So it's a fly ball to center field that puts runners on the corners here with now 2 away. So Sharkey's runner advances. That ball was struck pretty well off the bat of Reisel, but here is Raccabaldo. Fouled back, and that one goes into the Acme parking lot. Hopefully that didn't hit my car. I parked somewhat close there. You'd be surprised how many times those doors have been dinged in by foul balls and throwing errors. 0-1 to Raccabaldo. Raccabaldo cracks one on the ground to second base. Panvini is there, and the throw to first is in time. So Bauman allows an error and a walk, but leaves no runs in. We go to the 6th. It's 6-2, Roughriders over the Senators. Top of the 6th inning. Ward misses inside to McKenna. 1-0. That one misses. 2 balls, no strikes to McKenna. Or excuse me, to Haddock. Haddock, Grice, and Watson. 1, 2, and 3. When you're wearing a white helmet and McDaniel flared elbow guards and shin guards, I looked up and I thought that was Shea McKenna, but no, he struck out in the last inning. That one's upstairs, and it's a 4-pitch walk from Ward to Haddock. So he has had 4 plate appearances, and he's reached base all 4 times. He has walked in the 1st and the 6th, had a fielder's choice in the 2nd, and a single in the 3rd. And has come around to score once in that 1st inning, where the Roughriders and the Senators traded off 2 runs apiece. Jake Grice, the batter. He has walked twice as well. Grounder, this could be 2. Picked up. He'll tag the bag. Quick throw to first, not in time, and Raccabaldo keeps him off the bag, so no double play. It'll be an out at second base. Runner stays at first, and Grice grounds into a 6-4 fielder's choice. For the first out of the 6th inning, and the batter is Watson. So Watson, the commit to UMass Lowell for his graduate student year. Like we said, when we saw him versus Centenary for Rutgers Camden back in March in that game that he hit for the cycle, that was his first career home run at the collegiate level. The wind wasn't really blowing out that day. I mean, maybe it was. I can't remember entirely, but I remember it was a beautiful day. We had a stretch in mid-March, as that one misses 2-0, where we had like 3 or 4 days where it climbed up above 70 degrees. It was actually warmer in mid-March than it was today, which, I mean, hey, thank goodness. I'm never a fan of heat waves, but Watson, he hits a ball to right. Speaking of home runs, this one is up there, but it will stay in the ballpark. I will be honest, I was duped a little bit by that Rough Rider dugout. Whoever said that in the dugout, I don't think they're wrong. That might have been off the wall at Rutgers Camden, but it is a deep ball to right. Watson flies out, and there's 2 away. So here is Costello now. Or no, excuse me, we got a third batter here for the Rough Riders. Throw to first is low, and he got him. Tough play at first. So 1 runner, and that's it in the 6th for the Rough Riders. This game has definitely been top-heavy in the first inning. We go to the bottom half of the 6th. It is the Rough Riders 6 and the Senators 2. Drew Harris is the new pitcher for the Rough Riders. And the last batter was Tronosky to ground out to shortstop. Harris, another graduate of Haddon Heights, now at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Division I product. 2 innings for him this year. 1 walk, 2 Ks, and a 143 batting average against with a 1 flat whip. That one is low. Harris, another player that I remember very well from covering high school baseball a few years ago. I mean, obviously we still do, but one of the best pitching prospects I've seen in a while. As that ball's lined to left field, that one is going to get down for a base hit. So a leadoff knock for Crozier off of Harris. And the batter is Warburton. So it'll now be Warburton here. And now that you're no longer facing lefties, does help the middle of this order here that is very lefty heavy. That first pitch line foul. 0-1. Washington Township, that was their first hit of the game since the first inning. There was a home run by Sedalis, the single by Racabaldo. And now the base hit. That one misses up and away, 1-1. Warburton had the sacrifice fly that tied the game in the first inning and a ground out to first base, so he is 0 for 2. Or excuse me, fouled back. Now it's 1-2. Like I said, folks, it's been a long season, and sometimes your brain says something before your mouth says something before your brain does. Ground ball, sharply hit to short. Tough play. Wow, what a, oh man, Grice tried to go for some style points there. This is going to be a throwing error as Grice tried to go for a glove side play. An admirable effort, but that will be an error on Grice. It moves Crozier to third. Warburton did not advance past first base, and now you've got quite the interesting situation here with Braden Thorpe. You're down by 4. But now it feels like a lot of the momentum is swinging in the favor of the Senators. I mean, they left 2 base runners on in the 5th. They left 2 on in the 3rd. And they left 2 on in the 2nd. So they've had 3 innings tonight where they've left 2 or more runners on with no runs to account for it. And like we said, they haven't scored since the 1st. But a strike is called. It's 0-2. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum up. That one's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Misses inside. So Harris in a little bit of trouble here. Most of it not his own fault, though. I mean, Crozier's base hit with a well-placed pitch that Crozier was just able to swing over the middle and get a good piece of contact over it. And in the fielding error, well, fielding error, unless it's on the pitcher, unless it's an E1, is, of course, never to blame on the pitcher. That's why any run that scores on a fielding error is quite literally an unearned error, or an unearned run. 2-strike count to Thorpe. That one skips in, saved by Simon, and Warburton will not move off of first. And notably, Murphy is not holding Warburton at the bag. So they're more worried about attacking the hitter here, which is definitely the right strategy. Quick timeout here. Thought that ball hit the catcher, but instead it actually hit the umpire. So he had to walk that off for a second. I mean, they're human just like the athletes are on the field. Grounder to third. This one does not stay within the chalk. That one's fouled down the third base line. And it's 3-2 still. I've seen it happen before in other sports, though, where, I mean, when you're watching a soccer game and referees in the middle of the action, and when you're playing on a high school field that's a lot smaller than a, say, a FIFA field. That's ball 4. I've seen some soccer referees get hit with a flying kick or an accidental, shoot to the face or something, but we've got the bases loaded here with nobody out, and now Githens will come out to meet with Harris. He had 1 meeting with Costello in the prior inning, so this will be his first of the 6th. But You blink and you miss it. You've now got the tying run up for Washington Township here with nobody out. So it's a tough situation for these Roughriders to pass through. But with Shields coming up, you've got a single by Crozier, an E6 off the bat of Warburton, and a walk to Thorpe. So Crozier, third base, Warburton, second base, and Thorpe on first base to bring up Shields. Bases loaded, tying run up for Shields. Ball is low. Nobody up and warming for the Roughriders. Ball outside, 2-0. That ball's hit out towards right center field. It's hit pretty deep. This one's up there, and it'll be caught in center field. Run will tag in. They'll throw it to third. It goes up the line. It's a sacrifice fly for Kyle Shields. It's the first out of the inning. Runner comes in from third, and the runner from both runners tagged. So it'll be runners on second and third with one away. And it's now a 6-3 game, as it's the second sac fly of the game for the Senators. And what's even better about Thorpe and Warburton moving up on that play is that now you're most likely taking out the double play ball. There's a ground ball. This one is to short, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Run scores, 6-4. Warburton comes in now, and it's the second run of the inning for the Senators. So an RBI ground out, 6-3. And the score is now 6-4 in favor of the Roughriders. But that is a perfect punctuation of what we were talking about, that on that ground ball to short, if Grice didn't have, or if I should say if the Senators had runners on first and second instead of second and third, Grice throws that to second, and you probably get maybe a double play out of it. Instead, that ground ball to short, you don't really have an option except for going for a tag play, or you throw to first, which is the, of course, logical play. Fly ball to center field. It'll be taken in by Watson, and the inning is over. But the Senators, they get something going. They score 2 runs on a sac fly on an RBI groundout, and Sharkey flies out to center to end the inning. For the third time today, the Senators have left 2 runners or more on base. We go to the 7th. Last swings for both teams here at Washington Township. It's 6-4. Top of the 7th inning. Simon leads us off for the Roughriders, but what I'll tell you is this is a very good relief outing here by A.J. Ward to really settle the score. Again, the Roughriders went up 5-2 when Ward came into the game and Luke Haddad came out after allowing 8 walks, but the Roughriders only scored 1 run on his watch afterward as Simon flies a ball to right. This one's hit pretty deep. This one's up there, going back, and it is off the wall. Simon is on his horse. He's going to third. No throw comes in, and it's a triple to lead off the 7th for Cam Simon. So just as we were talking about worrying about Ward giving up runs, he gives up a deep triple to right field. And here is Murphy. First pitch, strike called. Swing and a miss. Apologies, had to switch power sources. We were running out of gas on the old one. Well, not literally out of gas, but no balls, 2 strikes. Murphy pops it up, third base side. With the sun coming in, it's going to be tough. And it just drops in left field foul territory. And probably a good thing that this game's in the 7th inning now, because you are running out of sunlight. It's 8:10 right now. Sunset is set for 8:30. And Murphy swings and misses. So after he had that home run back in the 3rd, was unable to replicate it there. And it's strikeout number 3 in relief for Ward. Now, what's going to be interesting here is that, oh, I got a piece of our field mic. That's happened now in back-to-back games where a foul ball has gotten a piece of our microphone. And again, it doesn't sound like anything if you don't have a headset on, but when you do have a headset on, it sounds like a firework is exploding in your ear. So I'll fix that after the inning's over, but it's good to show that it's durable. 2-1 to Panvini. 2 strikeouts and a walk for the second baseman in tonight's contest. Grounder to third. Runner's going to hold. He'll look back the bag. Runner does not come in. So it'll be a 5-3 ground out, and an even more valuable one because the runner does not come in to score, and now you'll need a base hit with the 8th batter here. So 6-4. Now, what we were saying earlier is that there was a controversy in a game last year involving the Roughriders and the Grizzlies, as that one's high, 1-0, where the Roughriders led by 5 runs. The Grizzlies came back and scored, I believe it was 6 or 7 runs in the bottom half of the inning to take the lead. Now, this game had been going on for a long time, and this was during whoever was the manager of the Roughriders last year was there, and Zach Welsher was the assistant as well. The strike called. And in that game, the Grizzlies came all the way back. Or maybe, I'm sorry, it was the other way around. The Grizzlies were up by 5 or 6 runs, and the Roughriders in the top half of their inning had come back to take the lead. Now, the game had been called due to darkness, but by the rules of the league, there's a strike called 2-2 on the breaking ball, that if the game is called due to darkness, you revert to the last completed inning. So in that case, the results reverted to the inning in which the Grizzlies were ahead, and the Roughriders were fuming about it, but that was the rule of the league. And that is still the rule of the league. And it makes sense because not always do we have broadcast crews at every single game for the Tri-County League. We only do one game per week, and we just happen to be there. If we weren't there, you can't look at the results and say, well, this is where the game stopped, because you can't pinpoint for sure where the game stopped. So that was the dilemma. But the Grizzlies won the game, and even though the Roughriders, again, were quite upset about it, they did not end up getting their way. And that was, again, that was last year, but it feels like so long ago now. And the pitch. That one's high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball, right field line. This one's up there, and it'll land foul. Six to 4 in favor of the Roughriders. Senators clawed back with 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Two strikes, 2 outs. Ward delivers. Fouled back. Ward delivers. Ground ball out to short. He busts it out of the box. The throw to first is low, and on a couple hops, Warburton able to skip it up to end the inning. So the last swing for the Senators, and they are playing against the clock. Not literally, but the sun is starting to set behind us. They don't have too much time to get their bats going. They trail by 2. It's 6 to 4 going to the bottom of the 7th. Drew Harris still on, donning the number 53 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He will be on for the 6-out save to try to take care of this game and improve the Roughriders' record to 3-2, and he'll look to send the Senators down to 1-3. But again, we are certainly playing on borrowed time, as it's now 8:17. So Harris will be looking for a quick 3 outs here facing DiPietro, Sedalis, and Riesel. That one is high. That one is up. DiPietro 0 for 1. A walk and a strikeout to his name so far tonight. Swinging a foul tip. It's 1-1. Really aggressive swing by DiPietro, but it feels like Harris is throwing more aggressively in the 7th than he did in the 6th. Another swing and a miss here, 1-2. All fastballs so far here from Harris. Sedalis in the on-deck circle led off Washington Township's effort with a home run in the bottom of the 1st inning for the Rowan University product. As a sharp grounder to third base, picked up. Throw to first is in time from McKenna, and there's out number 1. So this will now be Sedalis' turn. He is 1 for 2. Home run, strikeout, and a walk in the 5th inning. So best case scenario here. Swing a second one over the fence, make it 6-5, and you've got a very hungry middle of the order here. That one's low. I mean, we've had 2 very competitive games here to start the season for Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage of the Tri-County League. We'll have, again, Cherry Hill and the Grizzlies on Friday from Runnymede. That's at 6:15. That one misses high, 2-0. But Pittman beat Vineland 4-2. I mean, that was a game that, in honesty, was a little bit uneventful to start, but then Vineland clawed back in the 7th inning, got 2 runs late. That one misses. Nope, strike called. 2-1. Breaking ball, laced foul. Look out. Good thing nobody's on that field anymore. That was a screamer off the bat of Sedalis, and it's 2-2. If the Roughriders win today, they'll improve to 3-2. If the Senators fall, they will fall to 1-3. Sedalis, high chopper to third base. That one's going to get through into left field. A spiked ground ball past third base, and it's a 1-out single for Sedalis. And now, if you're the Roughriders, you want to set up a double play ball. But if you're Riesel, you're the tying run. You've got a lot in your hands here in this game. Senators are right back at it tomorrow with another home game versus the Blackwood Bears. As this is a ground ball to third, this could be 2. McKenna throws to second for 1 on the first from Panvini, not in time. It'll be a fielder's choice around the horn, 5-4. And that is out number 2 for Raccabaldo. Last chance possibly here for the Senators. Raccabaldo 1 for 2, single, a walk, and a ground out. Ball outside. Strike called. I mean, the Raccabaldo family, pretty synonymous with Washington Township. I remember when I was calling games at RCSJ, they had the three-point shooter Chris Raccabaldo, who was the center for that team as well. And, I mean, Raccabaldo is not like a Smith. You know, you got to imagine those two are most likely related. As slow. There you go, brothers. But I remember watching Chris Raccabaldo at RCSJ, and he didn't look like a three-point shooter originally just because he was a standard, you know, forward and center. But we've got a walk here. And the batter will be Crozier. So don't look now, but the Senators have something going here. And now the delay begins. So here comes John Githens. In a game where you're probably starting to run out of time. Maybe 10 minutes at the max. Oh, that was actually pretty quick. I thought that they were going to, oh no, they're going to go for a pitching change. That's what it is. Or never mind. I keep speaking too soon. I saw McKenna start to toe the rubber. I thought they were going to go for a pitching change, which I have seen before in this league plenty of times when it comes down to the last couple minutes of the game before the sun sets. They change the pitcher at the last second, but John Githens actually made a pretty quick work of it as there's a swing and a miss for Crozier. I mean, if he does switch the pitcher, there's a very good chance that you don't get the rest of this inning in because the sun is now below the horizon and you're really, again, playing on borrowed time. It's Crozier, left field. That ball's up, diving, and he makes the catch. A diving catch in left field taken in by Ethan Haddock, and the ball game is over. If that ball had gotten down, this game would have been tied. But instead, heroics on the defensive side by Ethan Haddock end the game for the Roughriders. And the final score tonight here on this Monday night, your Tri-County game of the week, it's the Roughriders 6 and the Senators 4. The Roughriders improve to 3-2. The Senators fall to 1-3. Your player of the game will go to Ian Murphy, who had a two-run home run. Jack Murphy, who had a two-run home run in the top of the third inning. Ended up getting a walk and a hit by pitch as well in the game. He scored twice as the Roughriders get their third win of the season. And the Senators will have to have a quick turnaround because they'll be back at this same field tomorrow for a home game versus the Blackwood Bears. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti, my producer, Damon Dukes of UMBC. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Friday from the Runnymede Babe Ruth Complex for a North Division matchup between Cherry Hill and the South Jersey Grizzlies. Have a good one, folks.